Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of Random CDs, Random Facts. So I'm sitting here in front of my 800 CD wall of wonder, at least that's what I have dubbed it. This is where I keep out my most popular albums, the ones that I go to, reach for all of the time. So I'm actually sitting down this time because I want to get to the bottom half. If you've watched the first two episodes that I've done, I was standing up, we were doing the top half. So we're down here in the range of the J's and the M's all the way to the Z's. And so we'll do that. For this here, what I do is I do a little bit of blindfolding and I randomly select, pull it out, and then we will talk about that album, give you a little commentary, a little bit of background, some random facts, etc., that sort of stuff. But before we get started on all of this, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this, with random CDs, random facts. Now, for the last episode, which was actually episode number 2, and I'm going to put a link to it in below. If this is your first time watching, you can check that out. We covered Glenn Hughes' Resonate, great solo album by him, Boston's 4th studio album, Walk On. Then we've got Toto called 14, which is actually their 15th studio album, the Beatles, Abbey Road, and then we got Robert Plant, Mighty Rearranger, and Def Leppard, Songs from the Sparkle Lounge. So I specifically pulled those out, even though they're from the higher area within this. I don't want to hit on those. And in the very first episode, one of the ones we pulled out was Kix, Blow My Fuse. And again, just so that I don't have an opportunity to actually reselect something, I've pulled those out here. Now we're going to dive into it very simply. Like I said, blindfold myself with my hand, touch somewhere on the wall. Let's see what we got. This one, great. I love this album here. John Norum, Total Control, guitarist with Europe. Now, he actually made this album after leaving Europe. This is his debut studio album, solo album. He made it after leaving Europe from the album The Final Countdown. So the one that they were so most popular for. I think he had actually left that even before the tour. Maybe he did a little bit of the tour, but he recorded the album, then he left. And he decided to go out on his own, probably the why this is called, entitled Total Control. This one here is actually a music on CD reissue. So if you're looking for it, it's back in print. This one here has one bonus track on it called Wild One, but I believe that was on the original album as well. So not so much as a bonus track as that's called, but great album. If you like Europe, if you like The Final Countdown, the 80s era of Europe, you're going to really like this, and you're going to really like his follow-up album called Face the Heat as well, if you're not familiar with that. In fact, I'm just going to show it to you here since it's right there. Definitely check this out. Glenn Hughes is singing on that. Since we talked about Glenn Hughes last time, I thought I'd give a little shout out to him there. All right, so that's our first one we did today. Now let's do the next one here. Go a little bit lower in this. All right, cool. This one here is my favorite of all of the Tommy Shaw solo ones. It's called Ambition. Really like this one here. I didn't know much about Tommy Shaw before the Damn Yankees, so for me, that was my introduction to him. I didn't know about the band Styx yet. And so, when Damn Yankees, they didn't really break up, they just kind of disbanded, went back to doing their main day job. Ted went back to being solo, Tommy went back to doing Styx, Jack went back to doing Night Ranger. Michael Cardellone at that point went off and joined Lynyrd Skynyrd, which was interesting, and he's been with them ever since. But I wanted more stuff that was like the Damn Yankees, that wasn't really like Styx, and I found the solo albums. And this one here in particular, Ambition, very close in that regard. Definitely more like the second album by the Damn Yankees. But I didn't even know he had solo albums, much less the fact that he had been in Styx. So that was all a lot of fun finding all of that out at the time. But this one here, the opening track on it, No Such Thing, I've always really liked that. The album itself is produced along with Terry Thomas, famous for working with Bad Company in the 80s and giving them that classic 80s sound, along with Brian Howe, their vocalist at that time. So if you like that era, you'll like this Tommy Shaw solo album. Great thing there. So love having that. See, something that's not even hugely successful or popular, there's some albums like that for me, big in my collection, I keep them out all the time because I reach for them, just like I'm doing here on this. All right, I'm going to try and reach for something back in this general direction here. I'm going to blindfold myself and see what we got. All right, so this one's an interesting one. Not my favorite amongst Poison albums, Hollyweird. So it was the big reunion album. After they got back together, they got CC back in the band here. This one here has 13 tracks on it, 12 album tracks, and then there's the bonus track on here called Rockstar, which Bret Michaels had done for his reality show. This version of it here being with the band. But I have to say this. I was used to Poison being that really polished, produced sound from their first 4 albums. And this one here is a very DIY, do-it-yourself kind of thing, much more in the punk vein, pop punk almost, if you will, on a lot of the songs that are here. Not really that classic Poison sound and everything they've done going forward. This being the only studio album they've recorded of new material since being back together. They did a covers album, and so unfortunately this is the last one where it stands with the band. Not my favorite, had some good standout moments on it. One of the things I didn't care for this one in particular is that they let CC sing. And I like CC, even his vocals and that sort of pop punk style he did on his Samantha 7 project, but it just didn't work for me in terms of Poison. And so that one there, one of the lower rung albums for me from the band. All right, I'm gonna go down low on this one here. I'll blindfold myself and we'll see what we get. Love this one here. Cannot have enough classic Slaughter, the debut album, Stick It To You. I had this on cassette when it came out in the day and absolutely loved it. One of the cool things was when this did come out on CD, it had some bonus tracks to it too. And that was something that was different at the time. When CDs first came out, they added bonus tracks to make people want to spend a little more money to buy the CD instead of still buying cassette and or even still buying vinyl at that time. And so it had the song Wingin' It, which was an a cappella version, or not version, but it was just an a cappella song. And I thought that was really unique and interesting at the time, and an acoustic version of Flight of the Angels. Well, this one here has both of those on it, but this is also a reissue version that comes with 4 additional demo tracks, the original demo tracks that got them signed. Mad About You, She Wants More, Up All Night, and Flight of the Angels. So those are on here. But I've loved this album. I love the cover. I loved seeing them live in concert. Incidentally, I saw Slaughter open for Poison on the Flesh and Blood tour. So maybe a little bit of kismet that I'm pulling out both a Poison and a Slaughter at this time. All right, we're going to go a little bit higher in this here. We'll see where we land. Okay, got a Meatloaf album here. Midnight at the Lost and Found. This one here is actually third album that he made at the time, produced by Tom Dowd, which known for working with Leonard Skinner, and interesting that he would work with Meatloaf, but a great producer at that. A lot of good tracks that are on here, even though this isn't one of the first 2 ones that's recorded with Jim Steinman. So not a Jim Steinman album. It's got other writers on here, but we've got Razor's Edge, Midnight at the Lost and Found, couple other ones on here I know were standout tracks, but those are the 2 that I really like off here. Midnight at the Lost and Found is the one that you see on hits collections and stuff like that, but there's a lot of great tracks. So despite the album itself not really having like a flashy album cover like some of the other ones, I'll just pull out Dead Ringer, you know, that type of artwork that we know Meatloaf, the albums for, and that sort of stuff. A lot of good stuff on here. If you've never searched this out, it's definitely worth checking out. In fact, Meatloaf's catalog is pretty good and interesting. Again, despite not all of the albums being Jim Steinman albums, he found a lot of great people to work with during that era and that time. And this album here, for me, stands out. I will quickly show you this one. My absolute favorite of Meatloaf is this one here, Bad Attitude. If you don't know that one, check it out. Another great album there. All right, where did we hit on here? All right, I'm gonna just randomly pick a spot and we'll see where I go. All right, Queen 2. Again, there is no bad Queen albums. I love Queen, Queen 2. This one here being one of the remastered ones that comes with the bonus EP on it. So I was slowly replacing my Queen albums to get these. Separate CD that's part of this, and it is an EP. This one has 5 bonus tracks on it, and it's got See What a Fool I've Been, which is a BBC session from '73, remixed in 2011. White Queen, As It Began, live at the Hammersmith Odeon 1975. Seven Seas of Rye, instrumental mix, 2011. Nevermore BBC Session 1974, and See What a Fool I've Been, the B-side version from February of 1974. So pretty cool to get all that, but great album. A lot of people claim this to be their favorite album. Mine happens to be The Game, but this one here, I love the song Org Battle, number 6. There's a lot of cool deep cuts on this that would turn up on a later compilation series they had called Deep Cuts, volumes 1, 2, and 3. And I love that a big band like Queen, who has huge greatest hits and things like that, did deep cut greatest hits type albums. So for those of us that are tired of hearing We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions and stuff like that, you can pull out these deep cuts collections and listen to those. And that was a lot of fun because it introduced me to a lot of other great stuff, including Org Battle, which is now a favorite off of this album here. And so there you go, 6 albums off the Wall of Wonder, some random CDs and random facts. We covered Queen 2, Meatloaf, Midnight at the Lost and Found, Slaughter, debut studio album Stick It To Ya, Poison, Hollyweird, a reunion album, Tommy Shaw, Ambition, one of his solo releases, and John Norum, debut solo album Total Control, guitarist from Europe. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, and certainly if you have, please remember to share your comments and hit like, and also subscribe if you are not. And if you want to check out the other ones, you can check a description or in the description for links to the other 2 that have been done. All right, everyone, have a great day. Take care, and I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye-bye.